You're on.
Oh. All right, we're back inside today because it's a little windy and chilly. I want to welcome everybody to another version of Cooking During the Corona Crisis. That's not going to be the name of it, but I just like to be alliterative sometimes. Today, I had some thoughts now that this quarantine is probably going to be extended a little bit longer on things that we can do to make this new norm a better place for all of us to be. And one of the things I realized going outside yesterday was that I needed to bring some of outside inside. Even though I can look out my window and see all the beautiful spring flowers coming to bloom, I brought the daffodils right into my kitchen so that I can look at them and they're a happy flower anyway, and they're just going to bring me cheer throughout the day. And I had some plants that wintered over in my greenhouse, and I was like, bring those in here too. Let's see what those look like. And this morning, I don't know if anybody saw my little Facebook shot, but I put my protein shake in a great big wine glass just to make myself feel better about taking care of myself in the morning too. And then one other tip that I want to give people is that although the foods that we're making are centered around this sourdough starter and what we could do with the discard and the leftovers, I just wanted to remind everybody that the Edge Fitness Club has on Facebook and Instagram free workouts all day long. They have a great motivational session at 9 o'clock in the morning. They have a terrific nutritional session in the evenings. They have cardio dance. They have yoga. They have fit boxing. There's so many things, and you don't have to be a member. All you have to do is be on Facebook. And if you're watching us right now, you're on Facebook. You can share it with your family and friends, and you can get some way of getting a workout in. They offer a lot of differentiation so that if you're physically fit, you could go all out. And if you're not, if you're just beginning, they give you variations for just starting too. So go check them out because they've really put together a terrific program that I think a lot of you would really enjoy, because I know some of my friends are missing the gym, and this is a great way to get a different mindset to go throughout the rest of your day. So we're going to start today by showing you how we finished up yesterday's. If you missed this, this was the flour tortilla wrappers that we made using the sourdough discard. And then we went outside, and on the flat top we made some pork fajitas. I filled my wrappers the rest of the way after we left you with the remainder of the filling and some cheese, and I covered them in a sauce, an enchilada bake sauce, and that's basically tomato sauce and salsa mixed together, poured over the top of those wrapped up tortillas, and I put some cheese inside and on top, and we're going to bake that in the oven tonight, and that's going to be our dinner tonight. So today, when you go to feed your starter, when you take off your discard, we're going to post on our YouTube channel tonight the recipe for pizza dough, which you could make pizza or stuffed breads or calzones with. And we're going to share a recipe for crackers today, which I'm actually going to demonstrate that. So I made earlier today for you mashed potato, bacon, caramelized onion pizza that we had leftover potatoes last night from, we had Logan and John's birthday dinner last night because we couldn't go out for dinner, so we made something special here, and we had some tricolor potatoes left over. So this morning I used the crust recipe, and I put together this mashed potato caramelized bacon pizza for, I can't believe it survived here this morning, but I love this crust. I love this pizza stone. This is a Pampered Chef pizza stone. This is a really crisp crust. I mean, I made this about an hour ago, and you could see that it's going to completely hold up. This is going to be a delicious treat. Maybe served for breakfast with some fried eggs on top of that is a really great idea too. So I'm going to show you how to make the filling for a broccoli bread using the same dough that I have. Oh, I didn't get the dough. Oops. Edit. Here's what the dough looks like, the other half of the dough. So when I made it, I had enough to make this pizza, and I'm going to have enough to make this broccoli bread. And again, we're trying to make stuff with things that we have in our house because we don't want to go out to the store and, be shopping every single day. Of course, if I had my choice, I'd be going to a farmer's market, I'd be going to the grocery store daily to pick what we're having. But we don't want to go there every single day. And especially at the beginning of the month, I think we need to keep in mind that there's people who are on a food budget, and the first 3 days of the month they get their SNAP dollars, and they really need to go to the grocery store because they've been holding out for the other days in the month. So let's kind of clear out that space and give them some time to get in there. But I want to go ahead and show you how to make this broccoli bread filling first of all. And this was some butter that I had left over last night. We made a chive butter to go on the steaks for their birthday dinner, and there's a little bit left, so I saved it. I'm going to cook my onions in that today. Melted a little bit there. And now I've showed how to slice the onion, going back to the onion soup recipe, but today I'm going to show you how to dice it. And what you do is you cut your onion in half, and you start with thin slices from root to tip, and then you're going to turn it, and with your palm on it, so that you're not going to be cutting your fingers, with your palm on it, you slide the knife 3 times, 1/3 of the way through each time. And now you're cutting your strips into more strips. And then we're going to slice down, holding it together, and this is going to give us a beautiful, even, small, fine dice. And then you get to the root, and you finish off those last 2 pieces there. So that's a fine dice. I'm going to throw it in the pan, and I'll show you one more time with the other onion that I have there, so that this can start cooking while I continue. So here's my whole onion peeled. Put my peels on my stock in the back, because we've used that several times. I'm going to cut the onion in half. Now it's flat. I can deal with it better. On a flat surface, I cut from the two cut ends towards me, keeping my fingers back. Don't worry if one of them pops out. You can put it back in. It's like a puzzle. Here we go. Put that guy right back in. Put them together. Tap it with your knife. I'm not going to cut. You're going to cover it with your palm so you don't cut yourself. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I'm cutting those slices of onion into thinner strips of onion, so that when I go back this way, I'm going to have a beautiful, fine dice. Okay, fine dice, dice onion. This is used for soups. This is used for fillings. All right, so there's that. I'll put that back in here. So I can use this. I'm also going to take a couple cloves of garlic to add to my onions, which are sauteing back here. And smash them with the knife. Take off the peel. And now my cameraman's going to have to be a little creative today and move around the room with me. Give them a good smash to flatten them, and then chop through. Keeping your fingers out of the way. And if you want to put them on top of the blade to keep them out of the way, you're welcome to do that too. So now this diced garlic, I'm going to just pick it up with my knife blade, throw it right in the pan over here with my onions. I'm just trying to get them softened. And while they're in there, I'm going to give them a little, that in the back is my stock. Those are the onion peels and the garlic peels and any vegetable. You know, as I work, I like to make that. That comes in handy when you do a lot of things. So why buy the stuff in the store with all the sodium in it? Make your own. All right, let's go back over to the broccoli. So for this, I'm going to remove the stems of the broccoli, but I'm going to show you that I'm going to peel them. The outer part of them here, just a really tough section, because it's chewy. And again, the chickens are going to get that. Now you could dice this up and put this into here, but this is going to show up again later. We're going to make a ramen noodle dish, and this is going to show up as a fine julienne broccoli stem. So what do I mean by that? Is I'm going to cut really thin slices of this broccoli stem for another meal this week and make it really fine and tiny. I don't have cabbage here. This is going to act as my cabbage and my sprouts, but we're going to show that another day. We're going to show a ramen dish that we make with everything. So with the florets for this broccoli bread, there's nothing fancy. We're just chopping it up so that we can make stuffing for the bread. You could do this with frozen broccoli if you have frozen broccoli. You could do this with spinach. You could do this with, you know, it all depends on what you have. I think that's probably going to be enough, so I'm going to save that. You know, I think it's really important right now to also think about how can meals be shared more than one platform. What I mean by that is, how can we make these things work for breakfast, lunch, and dinner to all the different people in the house? And then this is going to go right in the pan just to get softened a little bit. And I want to give that broccoli a little seasoning too, because broccoli's kind of flat in flavor. And we're just going to cook this a little bit to get it soft. This would be a good place to put a little bit of stock too, but I haven't finished that one yet, so. We're going to let that cook a little bit. And now you can't put this into your dough hot. So once it cooks, we're going to have to, you know, bring it back down to room temperature a little bit. So while that's going on, I'm going to do a quick flip of my board so that I have sanitation on both sides. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to roll this dough out a little bit, because let me sneak back here for some flour. Quick. I'm going to begin to roll this dough out in preparation for. All right, so this guy is going to go a long way because we're going to make a bread out of it. And when you're working with dough, you want to, every time you work it, it needs a chance to rest because you're developing the gluten and then you're going to rest the gluten. And if you watched us on the Family Chopped, one of the ingredients they gave us was pizza dough, and every single one of us failed it, including myself, because they gave us only 30 minutes to get this task done, and we were under so much pressure and panic. And if you ever get a chance to see that on food TV, that's a hoot. All right, back to here because I can hear cooking. And we're not trying to make, totally mushy broccoli. It's going to cook inside that bread, but we're drying it out so that we don't have the extra moisture. This would be extremely important if you were using frozen spinach or frozen broccoli, because that stuff comes with a lot of moisture in it, crystallization, and you want it to be fairly dry. And you can see I don't have any stock running off of that. So I'm going to let this cool, sit here and cool, and we're going to just hop over here and make the cracker dough. Now this cracker dough is one that I had that's made with flour and salt and butter and cream cheese. But instead of using the cream cheese and some fresh herbs, instead of using the cream cheese, I'm going to use that sourdough cast off. So a little bit of salt. And again, if you go to YouTube after this video airs, we're going to put all the recipes up there for that. Now I put this in the food processor because I'm going to do something that's called cut the butter in. And I just wanted to show you what that looks like in a food processor. So I did it the other day with the pastry dough, where I mashed it with a pastry cutter because you don't want your hands to melt the butter into the flour. When you're doing it in a Cuisinart, you have to be careful to not just turn it on and let it run. You're going to pulse it in here until you see the butter break down. So off and on, or if you have the pulse mechanism on your Cuisinart, you're going to pulse it. Now here would be where the cream cheese would go in, but I'm going to try it with this starter. And also I'm going to add some herbs. So when it gets cold in September, before it freezes outside, I like to bring my herbs in and wrap them up in butcher's twine, and I hang them on a little rack. And then whenever I need them, I just kind of crumble them into whatever recipe. So this is going to be a fine herb and sea salt cracker. And then you're going to see later in the week we're going to make some hummus to go on these crackers. I'm also going to brighten that up with these wild chives that I had growing out in the backyard so that it's not all dry herbs. I'm just going to toss those in quickly. And if you were with us yesterday, you'll remember we had these scallions growing wintered over in the box out there. So we're going to chuck those in there too. Now we're trying to get, a dough consistency out of this. So now we're going to put the top back on and bring it together to form a dough. I'm feeling like it's a little bit dry, so I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this mixture. This was a cup. I just didn't want to put it all in at the same time, and I might be adding a little bit of water to this too. But again, this whole recipe will appear on our channel. Now you could add Parmesan cheese to this. I think I'm going to put the Parmesan cheese on the top of it when I form it. Okay, so it just started to come together as a ball. Oh yeah, this feels great. And I'm going to take that out of there, and you can see this is a beautiful dough. Beautiful ball of dough. Now this is going to need a little bit to rest, so what I'm probably going to do is set this aside, make these later, and tomorrow when we come on, you'll get to see what this product turned into. But this is a cracker dough made from the sourdough cast off. All right, so I'm just going to put that aside, and you'll see that tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead with the, I want that stone. I'm going to flip my pizza onto this plate because I want this. So I'm going to put down first some shredded cheese, some Parmesan cheese, and I had this leftover fresh mozzarella cheese. So I'm just going to break that up and put that on my dough too. You can make this with pepperoni, you could make this with sausage, you could make this with eggplant. It's all about what do you have, make this with mashed potatoes and bacon. It's all about what do you have in your pantry right now. That's what we're trying to use up. And then I'm gonna go ahead and, I guess I'm gonna go this way because you're going. I'm gonna go ahead and put my broccoli on here next and try to make it, you know, even. You have a chance to fix that in 1 second too. Should be a little cooler. You can see the steam coming off, but for the sake of filming, I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. And now I'm going to flip and roll. Just like this. I'm going to tuck an end in. Tuck an end in. Roll it up. Hopefully transfer this over here. And put the seam on the bottom. I want to put a little bit of spray on here. Stuck a little bit, so I'm just going to get a little mother's helper there. And move them over to my pizza stone. You could fix any holes or tears before it goes in the oven. I want to brush this with an egg wash. I'm just going to mix up an egg in my bowl, brush it on my bread, and I like to put a little extra bit of Parmesan cheese on that before it goes into the oven. Now this is going to go into a pretty hot 400, and I did 475 degrees this morning for the pizza oven, and I'm not sure, probably 30 minutes, but I will give the time on that after I bake it. And I'm gonna set that back here now. We're gonna cook that off and we'll show you what that looks like tomorrow. And then we're gonna bring you our version of the crackers tomorrow. And remember, we're still working on coaxing this sourdough to have the flavor and the freshness that we want to make that ultimate goal of the sourdough bread. And then we'll probably switch gears and do a few other things for you because everybody's probably getting sick of bread. But another tip that I wanted to give you was it's probably a good idea while you're home now to go through your pantry and go through your freezer and make a list of what you have in there. I know in the back of my mind what I have in there, but if you're actually working off a physical list of 2 pork chops, 3 chicken breasts, you know, 2 ribeyes, 1 little bit of soup, you can kind of plan your meals around what you have in there or what you have in your pantry. If you have rice, if you have beans, if you have pasta, try and figure out what those meals are going to look like going out through the rest of the week so that we're not running out to the grocery store, you know, and do a little pre-planning for the next time you go to the grocery store to think of what can my family actually eat in the next 3 to 5 days without wasting food, because we don't want to do that now, and without having to run out and bring ourselves back out into the grocery stores. Because it's just not the right time for it. I want to thank everybody who has showed up for every one of these videos. The comments that people have left for us are really inspiring. I hope that this helps you get through that bump of the afternoon with nothing to do when we're all stuck inside. And we'd love to hear from all of you. And if you want to give this pizza a try and you're ambitious, go for it. I'm sure you have lots of stuff you could do for toppings on that. If you're just sick of cooking and you miss your restaurants, I suggest you call my friends over at Jimmy's Pizza. They will do curbside pizza pickup. They've been great. Their staff has been wonderful. Please use patience with any and all the restaurants in the city of Milford if you're doing curbside pickup. Everybody is doing the best they can to keep their, oh, I'm gonna get emotional, to keep their staff employed and to keep their businesses open. And if you can support them and you feel comfortable going out and doing that, please do that safely. Don't forget to wash your hands when you come home, but give these people a break. They're under an extreme amount of stress and pressure, and anything you can do for them, I know that they would appreciate it, and so would we. Thanks, everybody.